Cinema Worms.
Discussing everything from Grima Wormtongue to the Shy Halib.
I'm Sabib,
And I'm Linz.
and this is Cinema Worms Podcast.
Hello, once again, it is Cinema Worms time. We're cinemaing, we're worming. I did think that intro.
Cinema Worming.
I'm doing this Robert Evans thing where I just say the first intro that comes to mind. Robert Evans from Behind the Bastards. You should watch it.
So we are on a Michaela Cole double bill.
Mm-hmm. It was tight, yo.
It was great. We saw the Christophers, and Mother Mary will be talking about the Christophers first. So I'll let you introduce it. So,
I'm so hyped. I like how you introduced my introduction.
Yeah.
I want to kiss you, but you have lipstick on, and when you do, it just gets everywhere. No, you can leave a perfect little filmic
Yeah, just for the end.
Just for the very end. That can be our thumbnail. Okay, so the Christophers, right. So this is a black comedy. Directed by Steven Soderbergh. Had I not looked this up, I wouldn't have known that it was Steven Soderbergh. He's been doing some stuff, he's all over the map. I'm liking it, but it's not what I thought that he generally did. The last thing we saw of his was Black Bag, which I liked but did not love, but perfectly serviceable. And it was written by Ed Solomon. This is the one that's going to throw you, okay? Don't look at my notes, don't cheat. Now, do you know what Ed Solomon has written? If you had to guess now having seen the Christmas, what would you guess that Ed Solomon has written or not written? You could be like, he would never have written.
I literally could not guess.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
See,
this is why I don't let you
glimpsed
ruin
the word Bill, so I was like, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
You absolutely stepped on that for me.
Yeah, well, because I can't guess things out of ether.
This is why, you know what? This is why I should actually make my font smaller, because you're a dirty little cheat. So, yeah, I wanted to surprise you with this. He's most famous for writing the Bill and Ted series, and he wrote 1997's Men in Black, the only good one.
He is a legend.
He's pretty cool. If you told me that before we went in, I would have been like, excuse me, what? But there we are. So, the Christopher stars everyone's favourite legendary actor, Ian McKellen. As Julian Sklar, a famous painter who once created artistic marvels, including a series called The Christophers, the titular Christophers, all centred around this former lover that he had. But he now lives alone in two just enormous labyrinthian London properties, and he spends his days, as I've said, drinking, hating himself, and loving the sound of his own voice, not necessarily in that order. We won't name names here, but this performance did remind me of one or two older writers that we know on the scene personally. If you know, you know. The film also stars Jessica Gunning, fresh off of her Baby Reindeer fame. I still have a little jolt of fear every time I see her. And James Corden, who I last saw in James McAvoy's Scottish musical biopic California Scheming. Now, they play bumbling siblings who are trying to recruit Michaela Cole's artist fraudster to pretend to be an assistant in order to get hired by Julian, their dad. The siblings' plan, they are not smart. They are quite see-through and quite transparent in all their attempts to do these things. They essentially think that once Michaela Cole's character Laurie is hired, she will be able to ingratiate herself and search the house for the unfinished third series of Christophers, which so far their dad has managed to kind of keep from them. And when she finds them, they are like, we've got the greatest plan in the world. You are very good at essentially creating fraudulent artwork. You're very good at mimicking other people. So they decide that she will painstakingly finish the Christophers, because when Julian dies, then there can be mysterious additional paintings found of the Christophers, which will then fetch large sums of money. Sklar's work, especially the first and second series of Christophers, is mentioned to have sold for millions of pounds. So Laurie's like, yeah, I mean, she works in a food truck. She's like, yeah, I guess I'll go along with this idea. I mean, who wouldn't, right? This was our second Michaela Cole film in a week. What a treat for us. The first being Mother Mary with Anne Hathaway. Certainly, I thought there were some similarities here. in both films, Cole is a black artist forced to reckon with a vast imbalance in a power dynamic with a much more famous white counterpart. But despite that, her performances in both films are really, really different. In the Christopher's, Laurie barely speaks, and one of the funniest parts is her first meeting this blithering old man who assigns answers to his questions without actually letting her get a word in edgeways. It's deeply, deeply funny. We laughed quite a lot during this film. I did not know from the trailer how I was going to feel about it. I thought it could kind of go either way. The trailer wasn't particularly, I felt the scenes weren't necessarily well picked, but then you have Michaela Cole, you have Ian McKellen. It was never going to be a bad film. It just wasn't necessarily presented in a way that I think would draw a bit of a crowd. But what did you think of the Christophers?
I thought it was great. It was like, wow, she is in two amazing films that are
Yeah.
probably some of my favorite films of the year.
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely, 100% agree. Yeah.
Really ambitious, sophisticated, acerbic, but then actually deeply emotional films ultimately.
Yeah.
So I had no expectations of this film going in. I didn't really know what it was about too much, and was pretty knocked. I was gonna say knocked my socks off. Is that a phrase?
Yes,
that you can say.
Off, yeah. Running around barefoot. So,
yeah.
like, before we get into the comparison, how
Yeah.
did you feel about the Christophers on its own?
So. Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, it's a great film. Okay,
yeah.
so I mean, it's nothing like Mother Mary. So let's talk about it, but also it has some similarities at the same time.
Yeah.
I could see the Soderbergh edge to it in terms of just the way it was filmed. It's gorgeous. It's like sharp yet soft at the same time. The cinematography, the sort of flow and of the camera following the characters around, staying intimately with them. And there's a certain zippiness to the editing at times. So
Yeah.
And that combined with the way it's written, which is, I think it really cuts away anything unnecessary, and you get right to the heart of the story, right? Like this internal battle that this artist Sklar is going through, and then what's her character's name?
Laurie Butler.
Laurie Butler.
Laurie, don't you remember?
Laura,
he said it.
Laura.
He said it a lot.
Anyway, yeah. So it was surprisingly exciting. There's some real psychological tension there. What did you enjoy about the film, or what did you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. I felt like a lot of it is, in a very different way to Mother Mary, a lot of it is about this dynamic, this power imbalance, and the way that it shifts throughout the film. Like, that's what was most interesting to me. So he clearly has the power. He is the artist who once was one of the great kind of, and she at one point in her life did seem to very much kind of idolize him for reasons that we won't reveal. You'll have to go and see it. That has kind of changed, but she does appreciate what he once was, and I think there's always this sense of, but that's not necessarily who you are. There is a little bit of, like, not fangirling exactly, but just she's aware that he was once a force to be reckoned with, and he's now not. But that doesn't mean necessarily that you kind of just erase the past. He's also he's a very difficult character. He's very funny, but you would not want his insults turned against you. It's the kind of thing that would be very funny to hear, but you would not like to be on the receiving end, I think. He's quite sharp in his way, and his children are just very bumbling and stupid, which makes him even funnier in comparison. But he is very sort of self-important, self-assured, and at the same time it's covering this deep insecurity. So there is a point in the film where, she kind of starts off as, well, she's sort of nobody, and she's kind of, trying to defraud him, but quite quickly, as you say, there's not a lot of fat on this film. It's nicely paced, it's really lean. We get to see her. It's not just the fact that she's good at mimicking other people physically, but she starts to almost, like, psychologically handle him. She starts to kind of manage to manipulate him right back. his is a much more straightforward thing. If he just blusters, and if he doesn't want to do something, or if he does, he'll just tell you. But she starts to kind of handle him, and to the point where he is starting to do things that she would like him to do, but he thinks it's his own suggestion. He thinks that he's come up with the idea, and that's quite fun to see. It doesn't always work out exactly like that. Like sometimes he does clock what she's doing, but
She's a
yeah.
force to match
Yes,
his, and
exactly.
he's quite a
And he
force.
completely underestimates her for a lot of the film. And that's, again, watching them realize that they're much more kind of equals in certain ways. It was really, really interesting.
She's a lot of quiet strength
Yeah.
and edge that makes her a really great foil to him. And yeah, they were such an unlikely pairing,
Yeah.
but very exciting
Really
together.
odd.
What talents, what great dialogue.
It's
Just
funny
excellent.
that you say that because yeah, she doesn't say a lot to begin with, right? And he's like talking over her. But then later she doesn't actually have a lot to say in this film as well. A lot of it is appropriate pauses, and then she'll say something either caustic or very short. She'll be like, "Oh, do you think so?" And he's the one who does most of the talking, but again, she knows how to use words and silence to get what she wants. And that's kind of really interesting as well. Like, I wonder if there was a breakdown how much she actually does speak in this film, because the opposite to Mother Mary, she's speaking a lot. And it's very erudite, and she's philosophizing all over the place. And this, she's not. She's very more to the point. It was really. I was not expecting to like it as much, and I came out thinking, "Damn, that was a really good film." It was very funny.
And it's a great exploration, in the same way as Mother Mary, of what it is to be an artist, what it takes from you, the root of artistic authenticity and drive. And they're both rediscovering their artistic voices in a way, or coming to terms with themselves.
Yeah.
So, and it's also really funny. It's a fun film, and by the end, it is somehow uplifting almost. Or yeah, so I think anyone would enjoy this film. It's like surprisingly almost like it could be a crowd pleaser for the sophisticated crowd.